Hey guys, and welcome back. And in this lesson, we're going to talk about how to be a freelancer. The first thing is to assemble a really good portfolio. A portfolio should pretty much define your capabilities as an illustrator and should have your best work in there. So definitely quality over quantity, having not over 10 projects in there. Having work that's actually in the market is super useful. I know when you're a student, you tend not to have things that have already been in use. You tend to have only college projects, and that's absolutely fine. But from someone who reviews portfolios, I think seeing things that you've done, even if it's personal work that has seen the light of day, is just beautiful to understand how you understood the end result of how something can be used. Next thing is to not have things that you don't want to portray yourself as. So if I'm an illustrator, I should have illustrative work in there. I'm not going to put photography skills in there unless that is something I want to do. Next thing is having it available for people to view online easily. If someone sends me a link, that's fantastic, because your portfolio is just a link away. It should not take super long to load. And if you're sending a PDF, that's also absolutely fine, but just make sure it's not stunningly heavy and it's not going to crash my inbox or take a lot of space. So now that you got your portfolio all done, the next step is getting a project. And there are many ways this can happen. One is that you cold mail, not cold call, because that's not looked too well upon now. Cold mail a few clients. They can be advertising agencies or studios with your portfolio link and just saying hello. You being really specific about the client when you're approaching them is really important. So addressing the person correctly and not CCing like 1,000 other studios is super essential, because people really don't get back when that happens. The second one is something I think is really fun, is if you think of an idea for a client. So if you're approaching, say, you thought of this idea for Coca-Cola and you just mail the agency that handles Coca-Cola and you suggest it. That's just the way something can come up, and it can also be fun to just do. The third way is just going old school and word of mouth and giving your business cards around, telling people that you are an illustrator, you're a freelancing illustrator. Super useful. I know people say that business cards are dead, print is dead. It's really not, and I think you can still give business cards around and still get work from that place and networking like that. Another way is definitely just looking online. I know on Facebook a lot of people put out projects that they're looking for creatives, either for they're setting up a bakery and they really need either a logo, or they really need a menu designed, or they just need a drawing for a social media campaign. That happens online a lot, and just being aware of those things or telling people that you are looking for work also, it kind of helps as well. So I know there are a lot of websites also online where you can do a quick job for a quick buck. Those also are acceptable. You can totally run through that. I know that's not a sustainable way of building your brand and also your career. I kind of don't recommend it as much, but they're definitely there if you want to take a look and you just need you just want to get the ball rolling, you want to start working on a few projects, just, that's there. The last one is a client just approaching you directly, and I'll talk to you about a briefing of how a project starts to the end once a project comes right to your doorstep. There are 3 ways you can get a brief. The first one is you can get a brief verbally when a client's in front of you. The second one is via phone call. And the third one is written on a mail. When I get a brief verbally or even on a client call, I end up asking them to send me the brief on mail just so that I have it written. And this is super important, because then you can always refer to it and there's no confusion when a brief is sent. The second step, once I get a brief on mail, is that I break the brief down. I write what my requirements are for the brief. That is the requirements of the client. The second one is my deliverables, and that would be everything that I need to give the client for the project. And also this includes the output of what I need to deliver. So this could be a Photoshop file at the size given. So either they mention a size or you mention the size that would be preferred, and the resolution. Then it's the timeline, which is the number of days you're going to take to complete it. So if you're going to take 10 days to complete it, and also a preferred schedule. So say 10 days in about 2 weeks' time. The last thing is also the estimate for the project, and that also has to be mentioned. And you send it back to the client for their approval. So once approved, the finances can either be done in 2 parts. Either you can take an advance for the project before you begin, or if it's a really short project, you can get the full thing right after you're done. It's really important if the project is longer, or if it's even a little bit away, that you take an advance. Usually 30 to 50% is what people take for advances before you begin your project. The second thing is breaking down